I know it seems crazy early, but I'm already looking at what journals and notebooks I need for 2026. Hi there, today's topic is choosing my notebook lineup for next year. It feels like I've only just finished my mid-year review video, but pre-order season will be upon us before we know it, so it does pay to be ready, especially when you're down at the bottom of the world here and it takes a long time for things to get here. Also, the pre-order tends to open at 2 o'clock in the morning, so you need to be onto it if you're going to get the particular journal that you want. But speaking of pre-order, my goal is to buy as little as possible for next year. I do have a wee series of questions that I'm kind of asking myself. Not every single one is relevant to all of them, but basically I need to ask myself, is it working? Do I need and or have room for next year? Can I adapt? Do I already have something that will work? Do I need to keep this material? And do I need a bespoke planner for this? I'm going to start with the easy one, which is my Commonplace book, which I don't currently have. When I was bullet journaling, I would often keep collections of movie quotes or book quotes or lists of favourite movies or favourite books, etc. I really enjoyed keeping those and I enjoyed reading them later on. But since I've stopped bullet journaling, and in fact, even while I was still bullet journaling because I was running out of room in the books I was using, I haven't really done it for a number of years and I've missed it. In my recent review, I decided I was going to start a Commonplace book. Now, the difference between a journal and a Commonplace book is a journal is something that you write that comes out of your head and your reflection, whereas a Commonplace book is where you note down things that other people say or write. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to set up this Lecterm 1917, which was going to be my bullet journal for this year. It's nice and fresh and new, 250 pages of nice crisp dot grid paper that I can then transfer all of my items to and then write any new items that I have on here. And this will last longer than a year. So if I do a quick review of questions here, is it working? Well, I don't have it, so it's not working at all. Do I have room for next year? Absolutely. Can I adapt? Yes, I can adapt this journal that I already have, and yes, I already have something that will work. Do I need to keep it? Yes, it's its whole point of having it, and so that leads to a bound, nice book. Do I need a bespoke planner for this? Absolutely not. I can use any old notebook, and I happen to have this one lying around. So, good news for this, no purchase necessary. The next item is my cleaning planner. This is a cobbled together pieces of paper, roughly cut to size and put into a disc system that keeps my cleaning system sorted. So have a quick look at these questions. It's working absolutely perfectly. I don't need room for next year. I can make room. Do I need to keep this material? Absolutely not. That's why it's in a format that I can add and remove pages as I want. Do I need a bespoke planner for this? Well, I've kind of made one nice and cheaply, so the answer to that is yes, but I don't need anything else. And of course, the joy in this is getting things done, not the planner itself, it's the system. And the best news of all is that other than some printing costs, there is no purchase necessary. So the next item on the easy list is my 5-year diary. There is 3.5 years to run in this. So let's do a very quick rundown of these questions. Is it working? Yes. Do I have room for next year? Yes. Nothing else really needed to be put in here. So best of news here, nothing broken, doesn't need fixing, no purchase necessary. The next item on my list is my reading journal. Now I've been using a shortened format this year, and where I just have a one double page spread, well, page and a bit spread for each month. With this shortened format that I'm using, I have plenty of room for this year, and I've counted the pages. Even if I use a couple of extra pages, I have more than enough room for next year. So let's have a look at these questions. Is it working? Yes. Do I have room for next year? Yes. So the rest of them are irrelevant. Conclusion for my reading journal is that this is working perfectly, got plenty of room, no purchase necessary. So back when I was bullet journaling, I used to actually identify some goals that I wanted to achieve that year, but I never went any further in planning out how I was going to achieve those goals. So some of them I would meet, some of them I wouldn't. This year, using the Common Planner, it has a whole 2-page spread that sets out up to 6 goals, and it says what you want to achieve overall. Then it sets out what you want to achieve for the year, half year, quarterly, monthly, weekly, and daily. And I have found that quite useful this year. I've also used the trackers to keep track of how I'm going on my goals, and I found that really, really useful. So right now I don't have like an action plan for any of my goals or trackers. If I'm not meeting something, I just note that I'm not getting to bed at 10 o'clock every single night and think, well, I must get to bed earlier tomorrow night and the night after that. But I don't actually have a plan in place to make that happen. I think what would be more helpful is if I set out a whole bunch of steps to take. If I'm not meeting that goal, then here are the things I need to do to make sure I meet that goal, which could include reviewing the goal and seeing if it's realistic or not. So to have a quick look at these questions in regarding setting goals, is it working? Not really. Do I need or have room for next year? No, I don't. Can I adapt it? I can. I can get a whole notebook just for setting my goals. I can I can buy a bespoke notebook just for setting goals and putting in place action steps. I can take a blank notebook and turn that into a goals notebook and then set up my own spreads for it. So do I already have something that will work? Well, actually I do. I find the Common Planner goals setup and the trackers really useful. All I need to do is put in place some further action steps and review them regularly, and that will help me achieve those goals. Do I need to keep this material? Not necessarily, but I do like to look back over my goals and see how I'm doing over the past few years. Do I need a bespoke planner for this? I confess I was looking at an Erin Condren goals setting notebook. It's an A5 coiled notebook and it has space for 6 goals and it has weekly reviews and action steps and all the things that you need. It's reasonably priced, it's only in the low 20s. But of course, once I convert that to New Zealand dollars and get it shipped here, it will end up being a bit closer to $50 or $60. And I have to ask myself the question, is it worth $50 to $60 for a notebook that I don't really need? So the next one to consider is my daily journal. And I'm currently using the 2025 Common Planner. This, of course, also has the goals and trackers pages in there. I have already discussed what I used this Common Planner for and what wasn't working for me. I'm currently using the monthly spreads just for a daily memory, but I don't really need to do that. It's not really part of what I feel I need to do each day. So I no longer use the vertical weeklies for any kind of time or task management. It's just become something else, but nothing essential to my daily routine. The main thing I use this book for now is for setting and tracking my goals, my trackers, and my daily journaling. And I'll just turn to a page that I've pre-prepared. It's all blacked out, obviously, because this is my personal journal. I can assure you there is nothing world changing under those post-it notes. So, daily journaling is something that I've been doing since I was 15 years old. So, the main purpose of this journal is daily journaling. So, the question I now need to ask is, what type of notebook do I need to continue this daily journaling? Now, I could just use any old notebook. I have 5 of them sitting on my shelf right now. I could pick up any one of them and say, this is going to be my daily journal now. However, I do like having dated pages. These stick-on dates are fine, but I have to then, every night I have to find the sticker, get the sticker out, stick it in, try and get it straight as I possibly can, which obviously I fail, and then write my entry. And some nights I'm tired, I just want to be able to pick up a book, turn to the page that I need to write on, and then just write. I also find I don't ever use a full A5 page for each day, so I'd be looking to downsize. Now, I know I could use any notebook for my daily journaling, but I do like having the dates, I do like the paper, and I do really like Sterling Ink products. So I am probably going to move into a daily planner, and I'm looking at a B6 size. The daily planner at this point, it has 4 blank pages at the front, so that's 2 full spreads. It has trackers, just like this one does, except it doesn't have the quarterly breakdowns into months. It has monthlies, which I don't use, but that's okay. It doesn't have any weeklies, which is good news. And then it has a page a day for every single day of the year, dated with the day. Now, I'm assuming they're going to keep the daily planner. And if they keep that set up, or something very much like it, this year's release, it would be perfect to have my goals, my trackers, and my daily journaling all in the one book. It also has blank pages at the beginning and the end of each month. I can do a monthly summary or I can review my goals each month. And then there's 37 blank pages at the back where I can do any quarterly reviews or anything else that I need to do. And of course, what that means is that there is a purchase necessary and it's reasonably pricey. I think they're about $50, let's say. So we're still looking at about $120 for one single notebook. But these are lovely quality products that I will be keeping forever. So it's worth it. And then finally, I have my Franken planner. When I decided to move into a happy planner, I went a bit crazy and bought a whole pile of stuff. So I bought myself 3 notebooks. I bought at least 6 different planners, annual planners on special. They were all about $8 each or something. And for something like this is metal discs. The discs themselves can cost like $20. So, I mean, that's $40 New Zealand. So it was well worth just buying this one, for example, just for the discs. But what I wanted to do was build up a supply of covers and dividers and discs because I knew I was going to want to chop and change and do different things, um, and fill different pages. So how I use this is as a Franken planner. I run 2 concurrent planners in here. So one is for personal, one is for work, plus there's a few extra bits and bobs. So I have my future log here, which is the perpetual calendar, which I'm not going to open because it has stuff in. I have some lists, and these are pretty basic lists. Things to buy, current projects, little errands, and current TV programs that I'm watching. And I have some notes. In my personal section, I'm using a dashboard layout, as that seems to suit my lifestyle at the moment. I then have a hobby tracker where I keep track of what I'm spending my spare time on. Sometimes I go a little bit crazy on one thing, like I'll watch a lot of TV or I'll do a lot of reading, and everything else will drop off, and that's okay. Sometimes I just need to sit down and read and not think about anything creative for a while. I then have my work items at the back, and I just have a little bit of a monthly goals, etc. And I'm currently using a task list for that. And then I have some spare pages stashed at the back, and at the moment it's really just a whole bunch of daily pages in case I have a day that's going crazy and I need to break it down even further. So it's working really well. I like the notes and lists at the front. My hobby tracker is working well, and I'm going to keep up with that for now and see if any changes are needed. Even with the 2 concurrent calendars that I run, I have enough pages to last me for at least another year. Even though they're dated, those dates are really easy to get rid of. And I don't use the monthlies anyway because I can't handle a Sunday start. So when I do use a monthly, I will glue a Monday start calendar over this. This is a vertical. I have some dashboards. I have a couple of undated verticals and dashboards as well. So I have enough material to last me for at least 3 years. So if I choose, no purchase necessary. However, because this is my main planner at the moment, I will take a look at their new release and see if there's anything that catches my eye, and I may consider purchasing another planner for next year. So other products that I'm looking at, I have looked at Erin Condren planners and notebooks, and I do like the coiled system, and for some reason I really fell in love with this rainbow hexagon cover, even though I normally don't like garish colours like this. And I'm using this to plan my show next year. I got the productivity one, which is quite useful. However, already the rainbow colours are driving me a little bit crazy, but not enough for me to not use it. The paper is really toothy, and I know that a lot of people rave about that and absolutely love it. I'm quite neutral. I think it's fine, but I wouldn't rush out to buy it just because of the paper. It works for what it does, and the paper's fine, so that's all I need. Of course, I have looked at other Erin Condren products. As I've mentioned, I looked at the Goals Planner, and their life planners look like an outstanding product, but they are quite pricey, especially again the conversion and the shipping. The Daily Duo would have been my perfect planner a few years ago when I was really heavily involved in theatre production management, and you needed to keep track of so many different tasks and so many different timetables every single day. But I wouldn't come anywhere near needing all that space now, so I'd end up spending, oh, I don't even know how much it is. I reckon it would be $150 for me all up by the time it got here, and I just wouldn't even use all that space. And then again, that guilt kicks in, like a waste of money and waste of materials, and the earth is dying, etc., etc. I also think the life planner would have been great too, but again, that's moving back into a day by day planning, which is not something I'm doing a lot of right now. I also looked at a meetings book, and I thought that would be really handy for work, but I actually kept one of those a few years ago, and once the meeting was done, I never ever looked at it again. or very, very rarely. So it seemed like a lot of money to buy a meetings notebook for something I'm going to end up recycling and never using again. So the good news is, this I don't need to buy anything new for unless I choose to. This one I already have and I don't need to buy anything new. This one has another 3.5 years and don't need to buy anything new. The only thing I need to buy is a 2026 daily planner in the B6 size. So that's actually really, really good news. Hope you've enjoyed the video and I will see you next week.